Sunday morning, nobody ever asked whether we were going to church. We went to church. And it was about 3.5 to 4 miles out to the hill churches. And my father would hitch up 2 horses in a carriage. And when it was time to go, why, we were all supposed to be ready and go, and we did. Never got even question.
Everybody went in the family?
Yes, sir. Everybody went. And
when you were a baby in diapers, you didn't go to church or Sunday school. Your mother did not go to church when you were babies.
I don't remember myself about it, but I remember that it wasn't long until she put us on her lap and took us. The church, I never knew anybody that the church, without being particularly religious about it, I never knew anybody that the church meant more to than to my mother. And later in life, and your father and I talked about this one time, if there was any time that we were inclined to, well, the heck with it, or we don't know whether it amounts to anything, all we need to do is remember what it meant to our parents, and that brought us back pretty fast.
And it meant the same, it meant a lot to your father, too.
Oh, yeah. He of course, was a Clerk of the Session, so-called, and for years. And we naturally picked up, even as very small kids and very young kids, the fact that my father was somebody in the church, because at meetings, annual meetings especially, or quarterly meetings, he was sat right down front next to the minister and read the minutes and made comments and what have you. And he always saw to it, no matter how busy we were, that we got to Friday evening, all of us, the whole family, for preparation for communion. We had preparation on Friday night.
Oh, what was this?
Well, they had a religious service, and the pastor went over with us what communion meant, just as they do nowadays, only nowadays they do it just before the service. And then, in connection with that, we had to, before we joined the church, study the catechism, and learn it verbatim, which include the 10 Commandments and all the rest of the things that go with it, and what the church laws were and all that stuff. And then the pastor taught those lessons, and after having taken those for maybe 6 months, as soon as you could pass the examination, then you could join the church if the powers that be okayed you. Church was a very strong part of our lives ever since we were little kids. And as I say, we always went, and we all joined, and all buried there.
Did you ever have religious discussions with your father or your mother on the meaning of religion?
No,
Did you ever question the miracles in the Bible?
No, we never questioned anything. We just took everything for granted, Martin. Everything for granted, that it must be the right thing because our parents did it. But they never made any, excepting to see to it, my mother saw to it that we read the Bible. And but outside of what we got at catechism, by being made to read the Psalms and things of that kind, we weren't Bible students, and we never questioned the church, never questioned it, because my father and mother never did. Yeah. And they never... I think it's so often nowadays, they never said anything degrading about the pastor, no matter whether he was good or bad. He was the pastor, and as long as he was, no remarks about the pastor unless they were complimentary. And the pastor always came to our house several times a year, and he'd stay, for dinner or for supper. And when he did, my father, no matter how busy he was, he'd quit work and entertain the pastor. And it always meant a lot to my mother. She was a good cook and set a nice table. It always meant a lot to her to have the pastor come. Of course, that always meant a chicken dinner.
Yes. How often did he come?
Well, at least, he came,
is that right?
At least 4 times a year, at least every quarter, and often, some of them, came oftener than others. Of course, they made it a point, I suppose, to keep in close touch with my father, because he was one of the official members of the committee. I've forgotten what to call them now. We call them trustees, as you know, in our Presbyterian church. But
I want to stop.